precious early memories are of making, building, creating. And when we create, we inspire. Britain is a nation of great manufacturers and innovators, and what we make is loved by the world. We are harnessing new technologies that will drive the next generation of ideas and services. The fourth industrial revolution is here, and we are embracing it. We're pushing the boundaries of science and research and setting the standards for others to follow. At the heart of communities throughout the United Kingdom, we are manufacturing world-class products. Highly skilled people and innovative businesses, driven and inspired by a common vision, continue to build the industries of the future. This is business working for Britain. Manufacturing remains the lifeblood that courses through all industry. From the smallest niche provider to the biggest global player, engineering is at the core of everything we do. We're training the engineers and technicians of the future. And with the backing of government, an industrial strategy could reinvigorate business for decades to come. We are the leading manufacturing nation, export-focused and trading around the globe. Our past, a firm foundation for an even greater future. The UK manufacturing industries. Made in Britain. Loved by the world.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. It's great to see so many of you here again for the EEF National Manufacturing Conference 2017. It's lovely to be back with you. I can't believe it's been a year since we were last here. My God, what a year it's been. If someone had said this time last year what was going to happen, I think we would have all said, right, we need a whiskey before we start this year, don't we? But it is lovely to be back. Again, so much to talk about this year. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Steph McGovern. I'm the girl who does the business news on Breakfast TV, very often talking about what's going on in the manufacturing sector. I like nothing more than showing off the fantastic facilities we have around the UK. Myself started out in engineering. I used to work for Black & Decker up in Spennymoor. So it's an area of industry that's very heart. And now working on Breakfast, I'm covering a lot of what's going on. I'm also now one of the presenters on Watchdog. So if you have any problems with your tumble dryers or anything, let me know. I'll see what I can do. But it is great to be back here, and we're going to be focusing today very much on things including the industrial strategy and, again, how we make the UK the best place for manufacturing. We've got an eclectic lineup, as ever, of keynote speakers and question and answer sessions with leaders from politics, industry and media. Backed by popular demand, we have Terry Scuoler, of course, Chief Executive of the EEF. We'll have Ian Isaac, who's from our headline sponsor, Lombard. And I know a firm favourite of the conference, Martin Wolf from the Financial Times. Also, from the world of politics, we'll be hearing from Greg Clark, of course, the Secretary of State for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. A key time to be hearing his thoughts on what's going on. John McDonnell, Shadow Chancellor of the Exchequer, will also be giving us his thoughts. And from the business world, we have top bosses from Nissan, Siemens, Info, Travis Perkins, NatWest, KPMG, CNH Industrial, and we'll have Joe Malone here as well, speaking at the end of the day. There are 3 panel debates to look forward to, covering things such as where next for UK manufacturing, digitising the supply chains and making Britain the best place to do manufacturing. And we do encourage you to get involved in asking questions. There'll be lots of ways to do that. We again have a Twitter account, so hashtag EEF2017. I know there's already been lots of people commenting on that, which is great. And I'll be telling you a bit more about some competitions involving that hashtag too. All of today's programme is going to take place here in this Fleming Auditorium, and the business exhibition is in the Whittle and Britain lounges. There's going to be a lunchtime workshop in here as well, looking at supply chain optimisation, investing in the future. That will be at 1 o'clock in here, and we have a speaker's corner as well today where experts will be giving 7 tips in 7 minutes, and that will be in the Britain Lounge over the coffee and lunch break. So there's certainly going to be a lot going on. I want to say a big thanks as well to the headline sponsor Lombard and the conference partners British Gas, Infor, Catapults, KPMG, NatWest and the manufacturer. Can you just put your hands together for all of our sponsors there? As ever, in this digital world, there is an app, which is a good way of keeping in touch with what's going on. If you haven't downloaded it, simply go to your app store as normal and search for EEF Conference, and you can use it, of course, to connect with other delegates, discuss news from the conference and get up-to-date information about what's been going on. And also it's a good way to network too. If you don't have a smartphone, well, you might just have to do network in the traditional way and talk to each other in the breaks. We do have a photo competition as well. I know we did this last year. This is a Twitter competition sponsored by Infor. So if you take a photo within this building, preferably one we can show on the screen, to include hashtag EEF 2017, obviously try and make it an imaginative one. Or if you're not sure on doing a photo, you're a bit shy on that, you can also do another way, which is to tell us why you love manufacturing. And if you do that with the hashtag UKMFG, then we will have a look at those, and there will be a prize of a Ferrari corporate gift bag. With goodies worth £350, I'm told, and it includes some noise-cancelling headphones and some other good gear in that. But not Ferrari, obviously. Yeah, do take part in that, and it's a photo or why you love manufacturing using those hashtags. That would be lovely. Also, on the Lombard stand, there's a competition that could win you 4 pairs of tickets for the NatWest T20 Blast. So be sure to head to that stand as well, and you can find out how to enter that. Winners of all those competitions will be drawn in the post-drinks reception, which will be around 4:15 in the Britain Lounge, so at the end of the day. Like we did last year as well, we have interactive voting, so at various points during the sessions, I'll be asking you a couple of questions. It's really straightforward. I'll explain as we go, but you just hit the option which you'd like to choose as your answer, and then that will give us a sense of how you're feeling in the room about different questions which are all relevant to what's going on in the economy and in manufacturing at the moment. Those devices will be handed out in the break a little bit later on. I always get told to make sure you hand them back in at the end as well, because they're worth 60 quid. And let's face it, that is, you know, given what's going on with the rate of sterling at the moment, that is getting more and more important every pound. So do make sure you hand those in at the end, and please do put your phones on silent as well. We do encourage you to obviously tweet and the like, but if you can just keep your phone on silent, that would be marvellous. So, let me introduce our first speaker for the day to open the session. Please welcome to the stage Chief Executive of the EEF, Terry Scuoler.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to EEF's annual conference and to see so many manufacturers and supporters of manufacturing in the hall today. It really is a full house. When I stood here some 12 months ago, none of us could have predicted the events which transpired in our economy, in our industry, and of course around the world. Those events, and they'll be well aired during the course of today, are potentially cataclysmic, and they will continue to shape our sector and the behaviour of our managers for the foreseeable future. While our sector is showing signs of resilience, and we are seeing some of the benefits of sterling's depreciation, please be in no doubt that uncertainty and risk remain. The process of exiting the EU has yet to commence, and the negotiation process will be brutal. Brutal, not just behind the scenes during the process of those negotiations, but also very much in the public eye. Ultimately, we must reach a deal that works for both the United Kingdom and the European Union. It is surely in all our interest to do so. That means that a bad deal or no deal is simply out of the question. Our sector's aims of ongoing success to the single market and a demand-led mechanism to allow business to continue to attract and retain employees from the EU must remain a valid and key pillar of those negotiations. As in any set of challenges, be it around Brexit or a renewed global order, there will be opportunities. Those opportunities must be grasped, and our sector has a key role in so doing. As I review the manufacturing and engineering sector in the light of these challenges, I do, however, with a sense of optimism. The government's industrial strategy, which the Business Secretary Greg Clark will talk about later today, is an important step in the right direction and something we at EEF have been calling for many years. We must work together to help shape and support that strategy and, of course, to be very much part of its implementation. It is a strategy that calls for partnership and collaboration, industry working hand in hand with government and other stakeholders to make this work for Britain. This is an opportunity, and all of us, including all of government and indeed all of ourselves in this room, must work hard to shape and to implement. Ladies and gentlemen, if innovation, productivity and highly skilled jobs are key to economic success, then our sector will be very much at the heart of our country's Brexit negotiations and wider engagement with global trading partners. Our engagement with government, EU institutions and other stakeholders, as well as our ongoing support from member companies, reflects our commitment to keep the manufacturing sector and its priorities at the heart of government policy and its thinking. It is no exaggeration to state that industry is crucial to a successful exit and a smooth exit from the European Union. Today is clearly a celebration of our sector, but it must also be a call to action, a call to invest, to innovate, to be more productive, and of course to expand into new markets with new products and services. Our conference today reflects those priorities, with panel debates by leading business figures, acclaimed economists, and keynote addresses from senior politicians. As ever, I am grateful to our sponsors, particularly our major sponsor, Lombard, for their support. Their, and indeed others' support, is much appreciated, and indeed they have served as well for many, many years. Once again, I wish you a very warm welcome, and I hope you have a most enjoyable day. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Fantastic, and you're right that it's really important that we're celebrating the industry as well as looking at how we make it grow. And all of the elements around the industrial strategy we're going to be talking and hearing about very shortly as well. But as Terry mentioned there, for the 5th year in a row, Lombard are the headline sponsor for the EEF Manufacturing Conference. So I'd like to welcome to the stage Ian Isaac, Managing Director of Lombard. Put your hands together for Ian. Thanks.
Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Terry. Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to this year's National Manufacturing Conference. As Managing Director of Lombard, it's a great pleasure for me to be here again, and I'd like to start with a very big thank you to the EF for organising this year's Manufacturing Conference once again. Promises to be one of the most exciting yet. Naturally, we all look to the EF to bring us together to share our hopes for the future and chart the opportunities in front of us. Once again, they've delivered in staging an excellent event, attracting record number of delegates with highly relevant content and speakers that will ignite the agenda with insight and passion. And I stress opportunities, as indeed Terry did. Today's theme, Made in Britain, Loved by the World, perfectly captures Manufacturing 2017 as we look to bring British values to new markets. This is the 6th, I thought, not 5th, consecutive year that Lombard has sponsored the conference, and we're delighted to be supporting British manufacturing at such a crucial stage in the country's industrial history. And what a history it is. When Lombard started out more than 150 years ago, it was a pioneering in helping the country make advances in the first industrial revolution, leasing wagons to equip collieries and of course supporting the development of the railways. Today, as we face the fourth industrial revolution, and our mission is much the same. Alas, we can't make the trains arrive on time, if at all, but we continue to support UK businesses large and small with funding for assets to help their growth ambitions. With the momentous year Britain has just experienced, there are some commentators who have questioned the outlook for our manufacturing sector. And if you read the government's recent Green Paper on industrial strategy, it's clear where the challenges lie. Skills, education, infrastructure, research and innovation are all areas where we need to concentrate our efforts. To me, the notable messages from years of research, and not only the government's Green Paper, is that the productivity puzzle needs to be solved. The UK invests on average 2 to 3% of GDP less than Germany, France and the United States in fixed capital, essentially plant and machinery. We have a manufacturing industry to be proud of, but underinvestment must be a significant factor in why it takes British workers 5 days to produce what German workers can produce in 4. Supporting this point, a brand new survey of business investment and financing decisions by the Bank of England found that a third of companies believed that they had invested too little in their businesses over the last 5 years. Those companies pinpointed a range of financial and real economic obstacles to investment as key reasons. Uncertainty about the future, risk aversion, and the prioritising of the use of both internal and external funding for other purposes. For manufacturing businesses, inertia in investment behaviour and the requirement to achieve hurdle returns, often way above the average cost of capital, also added to those obstacles. Looking forward, however, a recent EEF survey of manufacturers' expectations for the year ahead revealed that 50% are planning to increase investment in technology, modern machinery and innovation in 2017. Whilst that's really encouraging, it still means 1 in 2 don't have clear plans to invest in innovation. It's easy for manufacturers to be focused on what needs doing today and a challenge to find time to think about the future. But if that time isn't set aside, the future has a habit of catching up with us all. Events such as today's create the perfect platform for us to reflect on the needs of tomorrow's world away from the day-to-day. So let's take that opportunity. And we have every reason to be confident. In a decade's time, I'm certain that we'll have even more to celebrate about the products and services made in Britain, loved by the world. Those British qualities of world-class design, high-grade products, specialisation and excellence of service give us every incentive to tool up for the fourth industrial revolution, multiply our strengths and find that last piece of the productivity puzzle. But the wider debate about how the industry must respond, as I'm sure you'll hear in many of today's debates, is not just about manufacturers. At Lombard, we appreciate the financial providers must share genuine expertise, sector expertise, and provide the right choice of funding for British businesses, large and small. We also acknowledge our duty with NatWest to open up our networks to connect the right minds, encourage shared experiences, and support the manufacturing ecosystem so many of you need to thrive. This is why the Manufacturing Conference is such an important event for us. So during today, you'll hear from a number of Lombard and NatWest colleagues who will be forging just such connections. Headlining is Alison Rose, our CEO of Commercial and Private Banking, and she'll be discussing what next for UK manufacturing in the global economy, and you'll hear from Alison later on in the panel this morning. I'd also encourage you to grab lunch on the go and join us back in this auditorium at 1 o'clock, where we're hosting a workshop on supply chain optimisation. Promises to be a lively and informative session, and I'm delighted that the EEF's Lee Hopley will skillfully chair a panel of manufacturing businesses and finance experts. All the themes you will hear from today are important to Lombard and NatWest. We're committed to working with all manufacturers to explore how we can support their businesses with the best expertise at our disposal and the most appropriate funding. Whether this is for modern plant and machinery, including robotics and automated processing, or to support international trade. Fundamentally, we exist only to provide the support and confidence that businesses need in order to grow. Take, for example, plastic distributor Redco, which recently took the decision to invest in a biomass boiler. With our support and expertise in providing energy solutions, we helped Redco reduce to almost zero their second highest cost the second highest cost of a typical manufacturing business, energy. The company also took advantage of the connected thinking that defines Lombard, bringing the whole of the bank's expertise to support Redco's plans. David Holmes from Redco will be joining us at the lunchtime panel, as too will the chairman of Metal Assemblies, Stuart Fell, who recently invested in 3 highly specialised 400-ton presses with our help to increase capacity and productivity. I hope many of you can join us back in the auditorium over lunch. So now it's time to get on with business. I suspect this year's EEF National Manufacturing Conference will unearth unprecedented insights into the complexities and the challenges we face. I have every confidence in the resilience of the British manufacturing sector, and I'm sure today will provide the perfect opportunity to galvanise the will of industry and government to give you, the best of British manufacturing, the stimulus and inspiration you need to ensure a robust and productive future. Thank you very much.